So we have seen that we can load and unload modules, but what if we never want a module to be loaded? We can do that through blacklisting a module. If we take a look inside of the etc and modprobe.d directory, very often in Linux, directories that end in .d are extension directories. So this is really an extension of the file modprobe.conf. But rather than put everything in a single file, we can then put it in little, small, if you like, modular files. If we then echo out the keyword blacklist and the module that we want, UVC video, and if we send that through to the modprobe.d and blacklist.uvcvideo.conf, well, you've guessed it, this is going to be read by the system that it will not load that module. We can test this by rebooting, and when we check that the module will not be loaded. So come on, are we going to go through and check this and see if we can blacklist that module? Now, we've said enough about our glorious Pixel Playground, but the reality is we should be celebrating our command line, whether it's in the desktop of our graphical environment or through the remote connection here, because this is where we are truly going to be learning Linux and preparing for our careers and certification. So let's go through and take a look inside of that directory /etc modprobe.d. Remember what I said about .d directories? They're essentially extension directories. So all of these files could be a single file, the modprobe.conf, but it kind of makes sense adding them as separate files so they can be managed separately. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new configuration file to blacklist our video driver. If I go through and check at the moment using lsmod, remember we can list our loaded kernel modules, and let's search. I'm just going to search for video here, but we can see the first entry is UVC video, our kernel module for our USB webcam. Well, okay, we don't want that loaded. We know we can unload it, but let's look at how we can go through and blacklist it. Now, we do know that that's not going to be difficult. We're going to begin with our echo command, and then we're going to use the keyword blacklist. We're going to use it against the module UVC video. I'm going to have that all within quotes. Now, of course, if I just echo it, it's printed to my screen. But echo is an internal command to the bash shell. So if I put sudo in front of it, it's unable to elevate my privileges because we're running within the shell that I started as my ordinary user. So I'm going to pipe this to sudo and the command T. T coming from the word T piece, so we send in two directions, to the screen and to the file. I'm going to write through to the file /etc modprobe.d, and we can go through and put uvcvideo.conf. The name of the file doesn't really matter, but it should end .conf, and it makes sense naming it after the module that we're going to manage. Of course, I need to elevate for sudo, and we write to the screen. T writes to the screen and the file. We can double check that we have written to the file, cat, and using escape and dot brings up my last argument. And we can see then that that was my uvcvideo.conf, and we've got the content that we require. Well, let's now reboot. So we're powering the machine off and allowing it to boot again. We can allow this just a few seconds to run through. It's a virtual machine, so it doesn't take long. And it's up and running again. And that was in real time. I didn't pause the video. If we go through now and look for lsmod and grep for UVC video, then it's now no longer loaded. And not only that, if I clear the screen and then try and look at the device files that were being used to manage it, so /dev/videostar, those device files have no longer been created.